You've seen him. You know you have. Left lane on the interstate, doing 53 and a 65. Blinker on since the Bush administration. Not the recent Bush. The other one. And behind the wheel? A man in a polo shirt tucked into pleated khakis, both hands at 10 and 2, jaw set with the quiet determination of someone who genuinely believes he's doing everyone a favor. Welcome to the wild, slightly terrifying, occasionally beautiful world of the boomer driver. A generation that gave us classic rock, the moon landing, and the unshakable conviction that the left lane is for thinking. We're going to break down every single archetype today. Every one. And by the end, you're going to recognize your dad, your uncle, your father-in-law, and possibly yourself. In at least 3 of them, maybe 4. Don't worry about it. Let's start with the most common species in the wild, the Buick LeSabre Cruiser. This man, and it's almost always a man, drives a sedan that's older than most of his grandchildren. The car is in pristine condition because he washes it every Saturday morning at 7 a.m., which is roughly the same time he calls you to ask if you got the email he sent you. You did. He sent it twice. He's now calling to confirm receipt of the second one. His Buick, or Mercury Grand Marquis, or Lincoln Town Car is a land yacht, a floating sofa with a steering wheel. He bought it in 2004, paid cash, and has every intention of driving it to his own funeral. Literally. He's mentioned this. The vehicle has 41,000 original miles. Original. He says that word like it means something. And to him, it does. Because in his mind, the moment a car crosses 100,000 miles, it spontaneously combusts. This is a fact he learned from a guy at the barbershop in 1978, and no amount of modern engineering is going to convince him otherwise. He drives exactly the speed limit. Not over, not under, exactly. He treats the speedometer like a sacred document. And when you're behind him, you will feel a level of frustration that borders on the spiritual. But here's the thing, he's not wrong. He's just from a time when driving was something you did, not something you survived. Next up, the Corvette guy. Oh boy, the Corvette guy. This man is 68 years old. He just retired, and he has finally bought the car he promised himself when he was 22 and broke. It's red, it's loud, and he drives it like he's terrified of it. Because he is. You'll see him at Cars and Coffee on Saturday mornings, leaning against the fender, telling a much younger guy about how the new Corvettes just don't have the soul of the C4. He had a C4. He sold it in 1991 to pay for his daughter's braces. He has never gotten over this. The new one, AC8. He babies it. He drives it on sunny days only. Below 65 degrees Fahrenheit, it stays in the garage under a custom-fitted cover that cost more than your first car. He's put 800 miles on it in 2 years. 800! And every single one of those miles was on a Sunday afternoon between 2 and 4 p.m. But here's what's beautiful about the Corvette guy. He earned it. He worked at the same company for 37 years. He raised 3 kids. He paid off a house. And now he gets to drive a fiberglass rocket ship to the Cracker Barrel. Let the man have this. Let him have it. Now we move to the pickup truck patriarch. This is a different beast entirely. He drives a Ford F-250, or a Chevy Silverado, or a Dodge Ram. The brand is a religious affiliation, and switching is considered apostasy. He's owned the same model for 40 years, but the truck itself has been replaced 6 times, each one bigger than the last. The current truck is enormous. It is the size of a small condominium. It has 4 doors, a bed long enough to bury a grown man, and a grille that looks like it was designed to intimidate other vehicles into submission. And he uses this truck for 2 things. Hauling mulch from Home Depot twice a year, and driving to the diner. That's it. That's the list. He has never towed anything. The hitch is decorative. The 4-wheel drive has been engaged exactly once, by accident, in a Costco parking lot. But if you ask him why he needs a truck this big, he will look you dead in the eye and say, "You never know when you might need it." And you can't argue with that. Because he's right. You never know. He's prepared. For what? Unclear, but prepared. Let's talk about the Cadillac Crusader. This man is a connoisseur. In his mind, he drives a Cadillac DeVille or a CTS, or if he's really thriving, an Escalade. He believes Cadillac is the pinnacle of American luxury, and he will not hear otherwise. Mention a Mercedes, and he'll scoff. Mention a Lexus, and he'll laugh out loud. Toyota in a tuxedo, he'll say, and he'll be very pleased with himself for the joke he heard on the radio in 1996. The Cadillac is always immaculate. He has a guy who details it. He calls him his guy. Everyone has a guy. His guy charges him $40, and they've been doing this for 22 years. The interior smells like leather conditioner and the cologne he's worn since Reagan was in office. There's a small American flag on the antenna. The radio is permanently tuned to AM talk. He's mad about something he heard this morning, and he will tell you about it whether you ask or not. But here's the secret about the Cadillac Crusader. He's actually a really good driver. Decades of experience, smooth on the brakes, anticipates traffic 3 cars ahead. You could learn something from him if he'd stop talking about the radio for 6 seconds. Now we have to address the most dangerous archetype on the road today, the brand new SUV lady. This is the boomer wife. Her husband retired and bought the Corvette, so she went out and bought herself something too. A brand new Lexus RX 350. Or a Lincoln Nautilus, something with massaging seats and a screen the size of a TV. She does not understand any of the technology in this vehicle, none of it. The lane keep assist terrifies her. She thinks the car is fighting her. The adaptive cruise control has, at some point, been engaged at 15 miles per hour in a school zone, and it took her son-in-law 45 minutes on the phone to walk her through how to turn it off. She drives with both hands gripping the wheel at 11 and 1, leaning slightly forward, like she's piloting a fighter jet through enemy airspace. The car has every feature known to man. Heated seats, cooled seats, a panoramic sunroof, Apple CarPlay, none of which she uses. The Bluetooth has been acting up since she bought it. It's not. She just hit a button by accident in 2022 and has never recovered. The car has 19,000 miles on it and 3 years of dealer service records. It is somehow both the safest and most stressed out vehicle on the road. Let's pivot to the classic car guy. Not to be confused with the Corvette guy, the classic car guy is a different animal. He has a 1967 Mustang, or a 69 Camaro, or a Chevelle SS 396. The car lives in a heated garage. It comes out 12 days a year. He has spent more money restoring it than he spent on his actual house. He knows every bolt on this car. He knows the original factory paint code. He knows which assembly plant it came from on which Tuesday in September of whatever year. He has a binder. The binder has photos. He will show you the binder. You will look at the binder, and you will nod, and you will say, wow. And he will be the happiest man on earth for 30 seconds. The classic car guy is the soul of American car culture. He keeps the flame alive. And when you see him at a stoplight, Vate rumbling, sunglasses on, slight smirk, you remember why people fell in love with cars in the first place. Respect to the classic car guy. Always. Now let's talk about the one nobody wants to talk about, the Prius convert. Yes, they exist. Boomer Prius drivers. They are real and they are spectacular. This was a man who, 20 years ago, would have laughed in your face if you'd suggested he drive a Toyota Prius. He drove a Bronco, he drove a Trans Am, he drove a Crown Victoria with the police interceptor package, even though he was an accountant. But then something happened. He read an article, or his daughter studied environmental science in college. Or gas hit $4 a gallon and he had a personal awakening at a Shell station in Tucson, and now he drives a Prius, and he will not shut up about the gas mileage. You will hear the number. You will hear it more than once. 52 miles per gallon. He says it with the reverence of a man reciting scripture. He's tracked every tank for 6 years in a notebook he keeps in the glove box. He once drove from Phoenix to Flagstaff on a single tank and nearly cried. He drives like he's trying to win a contest. Soft on the gas, coasting to red lights from a quarter mile away. Air conditioning off in 95-degree heat because it kills your efficiency. His wife wants a divorce. Here's the minivan grandpa. Hear me out on this one. The minivan grandpa drives a Honda Odyssey or a Toyota Sienna. Not because he has small kids. His kids are 40. He drives a minivan because, and I quote, "it just makes sense." And he's right. It makes total sense. There's room for everything. The seats fold flat. He can haul a sheet of plywood and 4 grandkids in a Costco run all at the same time. He doesn't care what it looks like. He stopped caring what things looked like in 1998. He's wearing New Balance 992s and cargo shorts in October, and he has never been happier. The minivan grandpa has achieved a level of zen that the rest of us can only dream of. He has transcended. Let's address the sports car second wife. This is when the boomer goes through it. Divorce at 61, hair plugs at 62, Tesla Model S at 63. He's reinventing himself. He's downloaded a dating app. He's wearing a leather jacket that doesn't quite fit. The Tesla is a statement. The statement is, I am not done yet. And listen, good for him. Truly, the car is fast. The acceleration scares him a little, which is part of the appeal. He keeps showing people the ludicrous mode launch on his phone. He's filmed it from the passenger seat with his buddy driving. They both whooped. It's on his Facebook. 47 likes. He checks it daily. Now, the most underrated driver on this list. The old school mechanic. This man is 72 years old, and he drives a 1994 Toyota pickup with 290,000 miles on it. The truck looks like it's been through a war. It has. The body is faded red, dented in 3 places, and there's a piece of duct tape holding the side mirror at the correct angle. But that engine purrs, because he rebuilt it himself. In his driveway, in 2011, while drinking a Pabst, he can fix anything. He has every tool. He has tools for tools. His garage is more organized than your tax records. He has never paid a mechanic in his life, and he never will. When his neighbor's car breaks down, he fixes it for a 6-pack and a handshake. When you visit, he pops the hood of his truck unprompted and shows you the engine bay like it's a newborn baby. And honestly, it's gorgeous. The man is an artist. We have to talk about the convertible couple, husband and wife, 65 and 63. They bought a Mazda MX-5 Miata 2 summers ago, or a BMW Z4. Something small, 2-seat, top-down. They drive it on weekends. He wears driving gloves. She wears a silk scarf, because she saw a movie once. They look ridiculous. They look amazing. They are having more fun than you've had in your entire life. Last one, and this might be the most important, the quiet master. You've seen him too. He drives a 10-year-old Honda Accord, beige. Nothing fancy. He doesn't talk about cars. He doesn't post about cars. He just drives. And when you watch him drive, you realize something. He's the best driver on this entire list. Smooth lane changes, perfect following distance, never tailgates, never brake checks, uses his blinker every single time. He's been driving for 50 years and he's never been in an accident. Not one. He's not flashy. He's not loud. He doesn't need a giant truck or a Corvette or a leather jacket to feel like a man. He just gets where he's going, on time, in one piece, and treats other drivers with a level of respect that has gone almost extinct in modern America. The quiet master is what we should all aspire to be. Not the Buick Cruiser holding up traffic, not the Corvette guy at Cars and Coffee, just the guy who drives well, the guy who knows, the guy who learned, somewhere along the way, that driving isn't about what you're driving, it's about how you're driving. And that, in the end, is the real lesson the boomer generation has to teach us. For every guy in the left lane doing 53 with his blinker on, there's a quiet master out there showing the rest of us how it's done. We just have to be smart enough to notice. So next time you're on the road and you see a beige Accord changing lanes like a ghost, give him a little nod. He's earned it. And next time you see a guy in a Buick LeSabre going 38 in a 55, take a deep breath. He's got somewhere to be. Probably the Cracker Barrel, probably at 4:15 p.m. for the early bird. And honestly, that sounds kind of nice. Drive safe out there,